Good morning. Hi, this is Travis from the National Weather Service, and this is your weather hazard briefing for Wednesday, June 11th. We will have widespread showers and scattered thunderstorms today with a trough moving through the area. It's fairly strong, fairly ample moisture, and we are under an area of marginal risk for severe thunderstorms for today. I'll show you all of that. Looking for lightning, damaging winds, moderate to large hail, as well as some isolated flooding, particularly north of Stanley with a Wapiti burn scar. We are after that some lingering moisture will allow for some thunderstorms on Thursday and to a lesser degree on Friday, and then we pretty much dry out for the weekend and return back to the well above normal temperatures that we've been seeing back in the 80s and 90s across the area. Right here you can see the cloud field with the moisture ahead of the trough that's going to move in today across our area. You can see it fairly well on this satellite imagery. All this area here is moisture and instability that's going to move across our area today. Looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms. Mainly more widespread showers, but more in the scattered thunderstorm area. And again, all those thunderstorms have the potential for gusty winds. Mostly it'll be 30 to 40 miles an hour, but they have potential for some storms to reach in the 50s. And then hail will be typically in the moderate range, but there could be some large hail up to an inch with these storms. Hail is going to be probably the bigger threat for today. With good lift and instability to support these storms. And then as we look into Thursday, mostly isolated. There will be a few scattered storms, and again will be mainly over our northern areas, and then just a little bit lingering over the Montana Divide on Friday. And then we dry out as we go into Saturday and Sunday and even into Monday. Looking at our temperatures today, quite a drop off of what we've seen in the 90s. This is still above normal though. Normals for like Pocatello's in the upper 70s. So you can see we're still quite a bit above normal. And here's our chance of precip today. Quite high. Highest I've seen it in quite a while. Particularly almost near 100% across our northern areas. Here is that marginal threat that I mentioned for severe weather. Pretty much our whole area, and then of course the damaging wind, lightning, large hail. And I did mention north of Stanley we have the Wapiti burn scar. I'll show you that here. We are under a flash flood watch for that area. A lot of these storms will have the chance of producing moderate amount of rainfall, even very heavy at times, but it will be mostly brief. And here's the chance of actually thunderstorms. Here's the over 80% chance over most of our area, and even 90% chance in the Driggs area for having thunderstorms. And then here's our relative humidity. As far as the low value, you can see it in the northern areas it's quite high. We don't get very low on our RH today, but in our southern areas, particular area, will start low, but then it quickly rises. And here's our highest wind gusts. This is outside of thunderstorms. Just normal winds will be typically 10 to gust 20, some 25s. But then with thunderstorms, again, 30 to 40 will not be uncommon. Could, with more severe thunderstorms, could get the potential of over 55 miles an hour. Again, the bigger threat's probably more hail today as far as severe thunderstorms over an inch. But it's it's going to be very isolated storms that will have that. We'll have a lot of cloud cover through most of the day, and that will help inhibit the amount of lift and instability. But models are still showing there's going to be plenty to have good development and widespread thunderstorms across the area, at least scattered. Here's our high temperatures for Thursday, about the same as today, and our precip chances are mainly in the northern areas. It's most of the instability is gone. It'll be mostly from just heating and with leftover moisture. And then here's just a general outlook for thunderstorms over most of the area has the potential. And then as we go into Friday, we do warm up a couple of degrees. You can see starting to hit the approach near that 90 again, and hardly any thunderstorms and shower potential. Again, just mainly our northern areas along the Montana Divide. And then as we go into Friday, this is just the general thunderstorm outlook for Friday as well. Just again over our northern areas. And then Saturday, here's our temperatures. Doesn't change too much. Still the upper 80s, 70s, and then upper 80s. And then Saturday, most dry across the whole area. And then as we go into Sunday, kind of the same 70s and 80s, and dry across most of the area, just maybe a little bit over the Allen Park area. And Monday, same 80s, 70s, and 80s across the area, and same for Tuesday. As we go into the outlook, we look to be slightly above normal, have a chance of slightly above normal as we go into next week as far as our temperatures. And then our precip have a chance to, looks to be below normal. So continue that dry trend that we have currently. So just as a recap, the most weather we're going to have is going to be today, some very strong thunderstorms. This afternoon into the evening, and the biggest threat is going to be hail, moderate to large hail, and then we do have the threat of isolated flooding with some of these storms. We'll have some brief, strong downburst, and particularly over burn scars like the Wapiti, there's potential for flooding, and then we could have some pretty good gusts from these thunderstorms as well. Generally in the 30 to 40 range, but they could see potential over 50 to 55. So, and then we start to dry out as we head into the weekend and keep those well above normal temperatures as we remain dry into next week. That concludes the brief. If you have any questions, give us a call at this number. Thanks.